Hi everyone, as part of your upcoming interview, which is going to be happening very soon, it is very much important that you need to focus on a few couple of important law concepts in a very depth manner. So all the topics which I'm going to tell it out now, it's basically been asked in the interview again and again by the interviewers on a regular basis. So we used to train the students from past 3 to 4 years. So on that particular basis, we have made this list of questions, all the important topics. So all that we want you to do is about partly write down the topics, and if you want to put my video in 2x speed or something, listen to it one by one and kindly parallelly write it down in your respective book. So keeping that in the mind, we will be starting for today's video. All right. So now, very important area, when you're appearing for the law interview, law ka background hona, it's very important. What do you mean by law ka background? Law knowledge ka background you should be having without fail. There's no kind of compromise with that. So what are you supposed to do in order to comprehend yourself into a better version while preparing for an interview is about? Very simple, preparing in a very efficient manner, right? So there are certain law concepts you need to know, for example, about Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, about parliament, about judiciary, and for an extent which has also been asked in the recent law ka jo bhi updates they have been given, you need to parallelly know about it without fail. So keeping that in the mind, I'll be focusing on today's video about all the important topics. Now let's get started. Okay, so now few couple of areas which you need to focus is about. Just badly write down the topics as I'll be telling in a very voice note, because these are very important topics. And yes, starting with the first important concept, you should be knowing the importance of the starting very important area. It's about the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. Like our legislature in general, you should be knowing it. What is Lok Sabha? What is Rajya Sabha? Basics. This is something very much important. And there is a parliamentary system of government in India is because of the Council of Ministers is responsible to the Lok Sabha. So learn about the Council of Ministers and its functioning with the Prime Minister in detailed manner. Okay. Also learn about few couple of things about what is state legislation as well as union territories. These are very important, state legislation and union territories. Just learn about it. And also the next important concept would be about the advantages of a parliamentary form of a government. Okay, in the parliamentary form of government, what happens here is very simple. Here, the executive remains responsible to whom? Executive remains responsible to the legislation. Remember, executive remains responsible to the legislation. Okay. In the parliament system of government is one in which the government is responsible to the people, is responsible to the parliament, and can be removed by it. Remember. Okay. So in the when I basically say about a parliamentary system of government, it is something in which the government is basically responsible to whom? To the parliament, and it can be removed by it. Like for example, no confidence motion or all is there. No, just write down all those topics in your respective book. Right. So if this is done, the next important concept would be about kindly learn about the cabinet ministers as well as the role of prime ministers and their advising powers to the president of India. Okay, very important. And the ministers hold the office till they enjoy the confidence in the parliament. That is very much important for you to know. Learn who is the head of the state, who is the head of the government. Okay, head of the state, who is the head of the government. Head of the state is the president. Head of the government is whom? If they ask it, you should be knowing it. It is the it is the head of the government. It is the prime minister. All right. So now we adopted the parliamentary democracy based on the British model. Just write down that. Write down that we adopted the parliamentary democracy based on the British model. Just go through it once. Okay. So if you observe the difference between even our Indian Parliament as well as in American Parliament, you will find the UK Parliament, you will find a lot of difference. As regard legislation, the British Parliament is supreme, a supreme or sovereign, but in India, the power of Parliament to legislation is basically limited. See, for example, in UK, mein, hamara Parliament ka power is very much supreme, whereas in India, if you observe what happens over here, in India, the Parliament power is very much limited. Okay, in India, the matters relating to the constitutionality of the amendment of the act of the parliament are referred to the constitutional bench by the Supreme Court. Remember that. In India, the matters relating to the constitutionality of the amendment of an act of the parliament are referred to the constitutional. So, jo bhi constitutional matters have been referred to whom here? It is being referred to the Supreme Court. Whereas in UK, they basically refer to the parliament as a whole. Remember that. All right. So now learn about the cabinet form of government. Very important. You can expect a lot of many questions from the respective area. Please do learn about the cabinet form of government. And we also say it like a kitchen cabinet. No, know about it. So mechanism of parliament, a democracy for ensuring collective responsibility to the government of people. Just know about it, what it is in a very detailed manner. And along with that, please do learn about the no confidence motion. Okay, no confidence motion in a detailed manner. This is something very important concept. you should be knowing it. Okay, so now in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, when you basically learn the difference, it is very important and very crucial that you're giving importance to both. Okay, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha in an equal manner, and then you're basically preparing for it. Remember, we have nominated members not in Lok Sabha, we have a nominated members in the Rajya Sabha in general. Keep that in the mind. Okay, Rajya Sabha members are basically being nominated. So remember, nominated members, we can basically see where you can basically see the nominated members in not in the Lok Sabha but in the Rajya Sabha. Remember that. Okay, so these 12 12 uh, nominated members are basically taken by whom? By the president. He basically elects them, or who are very good in the field of sports, like music, arts, and all. He basically picks them out for it. So yes, now, next few couple of important aspects you should be knowing is about the chief. Okay, so consider the following: union territory are not represented in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, union territories are represented in the Rajya Sabha, so they can ask true or false question. Okay, even for your when you're preparing for entrance exam, you need to give importance to such kind of questions. Union territories are not represented in Rajya Sabha. No, union territories are represented in Rajya Sabha too. It is within the purview of the chief election commissioner to adjudicate election disputes. No, see, election disputes of, for example, certain election disputes, only High Court is the competent authority. For example, election dispute between the president and vice president, it is the Supreme Court. Remember that. Okay, I hope that is clear for all of you guys, and you are giving importance to that in an equal manner. There is no constitutional bar for a nominated member to be appointed as a union minister. So there is no constitutional bar for a nominated member to be appointed as a union minister. So there is nothing restricting someone for a nominated member to become a union minister. Okay, that is also possible. For example, if you have finance minister, like all this, like for example, Jai Shankar, they have not won the elections in general, but they are also from the, when we basically say they're also like a union ministers. Keep that in the mind. I hope that it will be always be remembering, and you will not be forgetting it in a detailed manner. So keeping that in the mind, there are a few couple of other things you should be knowing it. Consider the following statement regarding the Nari Shakti Vandan Abhiyan. So Nari Shakti Vandan Abhiyan basically says about providing 33% of reservation for the women community in the political party. Just know about that. It's an important form of current affairs. Very importantly, this question has been asked again and again. And so executive, which of the following are the executive powers of Lok Sabha to pass a motion of no confidence against the Council of Ministers? So what is the power, executive power of Lok Sabha? It is nothing but it is to pass a what? To pass a no confidence motion against the Council of Ministers. Very important. Just focus on that. Rajya Sabha has equal power to the Lok Sabha for amending the constitution. Okay, all right. That is very important. You just need to focus and then prepare accordingly, and then just like know about them. To pass a resolution empowering Parliament to make a laws and state list and create one or more all India services. It's something like which you should be knowing it. Okay. So the Rajya Sabha alone has a power to declare that it would be the national interest of the Parliament to legislate with respect to the matters of the state list. So Rajya Sabha alone has the power to declare that it would be in the national interest for the Parliament to legislate within the respect of the state list. Something very important you should be knowing about it. Okay. Now, if you observe, the president of India can summon a session and as well as see the president has the power to summon as well as prorogate the session. Remember carefully, president has the power for it, and there's no minimum number of days in which a parliament can function, because they have this like about minimum number of days in which parliament should function. It's not mentioned in the constitution. Getting it? So they have the certain rule book, but it is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. So in case in the exam they're asking, are they specifically mentioned about the minimum days mentioned in the constitution? Then you can basically put it as no. Okay, that is also very clear for you. The prorogation of the House is generally done, but the House is adjourned, signed dure, but there is no bar of the president in prorogating the session. So president has the power to prorogate and resolve the session. Keep that in the mind. It's a very important, crucial point. Uh, Okay, so now next one is about very important. You should be knowing in the Lok Sabha leader of Okay, so you remember Lok Sabha is basically Lok Sabha. The leader of opposition is considered to be what? He is the opposite party member. Okay, ruling party like leader of opposition is basically for example now it's Congress, Rahul Gandhi. So leader of opposition has equivalent power to the prime minister when the present government falls. Then obviously leader of opposition will become the prime minister. Remember that. So there are a few couple of articles you should be knowing. Article 82, readjustment after each census, and then qualifications for membership of the parliament. That is Article 84. Learn about it in a detailed manner. And then Article 85, sessions of parliament, prorogating and dissolution. So when you basically say about office of parliament in the election for Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha state assembly, the winning candidate must get at least 50% of the votes to be declared elected is basically a false. It's a false statement. Just remember that for the entrance exam, they are just asking a lot. What is the percentage in which there should be a proportionate representation for a party to be winning or not? Just learn about it. That is something very much important. According to the provisions laid by the Constitution of India in Lok Sabha, the speaker's post goes to a majority party, and the deputy speaker is for the opposition. So if you just observe this, just read through it once again, you guys will get a little more clarity about this such kind of areas, where they're asking more kind of questions about speaker and deputy speakers and all. So, and a few couple of areas you should be knowing is about, as per the rules of procedure and conduct of business in the Lok Sabha, the election of the deputy speaker shall be on such date that the speaker may fix it. So remember that the as per the rules and procedure, the deputy speaker election is something which has been fixed by whom? It's been decided by the speaker, remember, and the deputy speaker has the same power as a speaker when presiding officer sitting of the house, and no appeal lies against his ruling. Okay, so remember, even this like for example, on the absence of the speaker, and deputy speaker has also the equivalent amount of power. Know about that. And if he or she intends to resign, the letter of his resignation has to address the deputy speaker. Remember that. That is a very important point. With them, while the nominated members of the two houses of the parliament have no voting right in the presidential election, they have the right to vote in the election of the vice president. Remember, the nominated members cannot vote in the presidential election. So who can vote in the it's like total population, it's like members of parliament, state legislation on can vote for whose election? The president's election. But remember that who cannot vote something in the vice presidents, nominated members cannot vote in the presidential election, but nominated members can vote in the vice president's election. Keep that in the mind. Okay, that you might be a little bit tricky question, which you should be able to answer it. Okay, the speaker of legislative assembly shall vacate his office if he ceases to seize the member of the assembly. Okay, that is like very common sense, but I want all of you just to give importance about the pleasure of president. What is pleasure of president and all? So a bit extra reading if you do, will be a little more adding on to your preparation. Okay, what do you mean by assent or assent of a president? What do you mean by an assent of a president? For example, when a bill is being passed, we require somebody's assent. Who's that assent? It's actually the president assent. Important. This one, assent of the president, is something very crucial. You should be knowing it without fail. Okay, and assent of the governor, veto power of the governor. That is something you should be knowing it. He may give his assent to the bill. He may withhold his assent to the bill. He may. So remember, there are four stages in which an assent is basically given by the governor. One is about he may give assent to the bill. Okay, one, he can give assent to the bill. Second is he may withhold his assent to the bill. He can withhold his assent to the bill. Third is about he may return the bill for reconsideration of the houses. So he may return the bill for reconsideration of the houses of the parliament. What do you mean by it? For example, when a bill is being passed, he can send it back for reconsidering it. He may reserve the bill for consideration of the president. For example, when a bill is being pending, what he can do is about he can ask it for reconsidering that entire thing. Okay. Now, next one is called assent of the president. What do you mean by assent of the president? Assent of the president is nothing but, okay, so very important thing. It's like you should be knowing it without fail. In the assent of the president is about when a bill is reserved by a governor or for the consideration of the president may either give his assent to the bill, withhold his assent to the bill, or return the bill for reconsideration. So when a bill is brought to the president, he can hold it, he can withhold it, and then but there is a time period in which a president can hold and withhold of the bill. So just go through it once, it'll be a little more good for you. Now, please to learn about disqualification of the members of the House of Parliament, okay, and also learn of this anti-defection law. So anti-defection law comes under the 10th schedule of the Constitution, comes in the 52nd Amendment of 1985. Very important. Please do go through it. It's something very crucial area. You should be spending time. It's called as 10 schedule for the 52nd Amendment 1985. In general, we have anti-defection law. Please do go through it. Very important area. And with reference to the speakers of the Lok Sabha, consider the following statement. The removal of the speaker of the Lok Sabha is under the consideration, okay, in which he shall not preside. Okay, so for example, when speaker is basically being removed, like when there is a chance for him to remove, he cannot basically preside the session. Obviously, it's a common sense. Remember that if, for example, if we are pushing in terms of a vote, in terms of removing a speaker in general, then it can be considered as what removal of the speaker. Please to learn about this very important thing it is. And the law specifies a nominated legislatures cannot join any political party within 6 months of being appointed in the house. So it's a very important area. Please to focus on that. And so a nominated member cannot join any political party within 6 months of being appointed in the house. Remember that. So the law specifies. So there's no law which has been specified about this nominated member. So just go through it. These are a few important areas. and the law does not provide any time frame within which the presiding officer has to decide the defection case. So there is no uh, time period also mentioned in this constitution general. So when you're learning, please do learn also about this bicameral legislation, very important. Yeah, please do spend time for it. Learn about the total strength of Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha. Also learn about few couple of important bills. What is money bill? What is an ordinary bill? And what do you mean by council of dependence? What do you mean by an ordinary bill? So in ordinary bill, remember, this is the only one bill where there's no kind of joint sitting. Remember that. In the ordinary bill, there's no kind of joint sitting. Remember that. In an ordinary bill, we have no kind of a joint sitting, and the legislative assembly, legislative council can withhold can withhold by legislative council for 3 months in first instance and not in the month of second instance. So just learn through it. So what is an ordinary bill? And if you also observe about uh, few couple of important aspects would be, I would learn about office of profit. What is office of profit? And if you're able to go on, the parliament exempts several posts from disqualification of the government's office of profit. So the above mentioned act was amended 5 times. Remember that. That is something very important. So office of profit is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. See, office of profit is nowhere mentioned in the constitution. Keep that also in the mind. It's something very crucial. You should be, I think, knowing by now, because it has been in the news again and again. The Parliament of India exercise control over the functions of Council of Ministers. So the Parliament has following powers. They have like adjournment motion, they have question hour, they have a supplementary question. Just write down all those respective topics. It can help you out. Okay. A motion of no confidence shall be introduced in the Lok Sabha only. So just learn about that. And a few couple of important details is about the parliamentary committees in general. What are these parliamentary committees? Please to give importance to it, and please to prepare accordingly in a very, 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 very diligent manner, because parliamentary committees are very, 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 very crucial. And a parliamentary committee, learn about the committee in public accounts, committee in estimates, committee in public understanding, a committee on petitions. These are few couple of important committees. Just learn through it. Okay, in parliamentary committees, they're very important. They play a very important role. And also learn about the state legislations in general. Okay, so the state legislation is a state in which can be larger in size than half of the legislative assembly of a particular state. So that is a false thing. So remember that these are a few couple of important topics which they have asked. And also just learn about Article 168, the Constitution of Legislation in States, and abolition or creation of legislative councils in the state. The Parliament may, by law, provide the abolition or creation of such council as having in a state which is having no council. So abolition or creation of legislative council comes in Article 116, and they have mentioned it. Okay. Also remember that with reference to the legislative assembly of a state in India, so the governor makes a customary address to the members of the house at the commencement of the first session of the year. Just remember that. Okay. So who makes the announcement the first session of the year? It is basically the governor. Just write down all these points. And when a state legislation does not have a rule on a particular matter, it follows Lok Sabha's rule on that matter. So when example, when a state legislation does not have a rule on a particular matter, they will refer to the what they will be referring to the Lok Sabha in general. Yes, the legislative assembly of the state passes a resolution in the effect of a majority of the total membership of the assembly of not less than 2/3 of the members of the assembly present in voting. So learn about all this in a detailed manner. It can really help you out. Also learn about few couple of important discretionary powers. Okay, discretionary powers of governor. So governor, like for example, he has sending a report to the president of India for imposing president's rule. That is possible for governor, right? And reserving certain bill passed by state legislation for considering the president of India. For certain bills, he can give it to the president for considering it. That is also possible. And appointing of the ministers is basically done in terms of consideration with the chief minister. That is done. Making rules for the conduct of business of the state government. So it is basically done in connections with the chief minister. Remember. So how the conduct of business of a state should be done? It is basically done in consultation with the ministers in general, with the ministers as well as with the CM. Okay, keep that in the mind. And no procedure has been laid down in the Constitution of India for the removal of governor. So it's only on the presidential uh, pleasure of the president, he can decide who can be removed and who cannot be removed for the same. All right. So please do learn about the scrutinizing appropriation and the finance accounts of government, and examine the report of the CAG. So that is something very important which you need to barely learn about it. Please to learn about a little bit about ethics committee in general, something very crucial committees you need to spend time and properly learn about it. Ethics committee. Okay, which of the following are the financial committee of the president in India? One is about the public accounts committee, estimates committee, a committee on public understanding. You just need to learn all the three committees in a very detailed manner. Also, please do learn about state executives in general. Okay, please do learn about the Sarkari Commission. It is something very crucial. Sarkari Commission, what is its powers, functions, and all. Okay. Also learn about few couple of other areas. One is Article 109 mentions special procedure in respect of money bill. So just learn about that. A money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of States. Remember, a money bill shall not be introduced in the Council of States, and that means Rajya Sabha does not have a say in the money bill. Okay. And the Rajya Sabha can either approve the bill or suggest the changes at as and when it's needed. Okay. Please do learn about it. And along with that, please do spend time for a bill pending in the Lok Sabha lapses on its dissolution. Okay. A bill pending on the Lok Sabha lapses on dissolution. For example, if a bill which has been passed in the a bill which is in consideration of the Rajya Sabha, it cannot be dissolved. Remember that. So, if for example, even the Lok Sabha is dissolved, if it's still been passed in, like if it's been introduced by Rajya Sabha, it cannot be dissolved in general. Is what you need to keep a proper importance when preparing for this entire kind of entire kind of preparation in a very effective manner. So make sure that you are diligently preparing in such a way that you're not forgetting any of these concepts, because these are very important and very crucial. Okay, so along with this, there are a few couple of other areas which you should be knowing it without fail. So it's starting with few couple of other important areas in general you need to focus about. Parliamentary committees, annual budget. Please do learn about the budgets in general. Learn about provinces of fiscal responsibility and budget management act. Please do spend time for it. And the Department of no amount can be withdrawn from the Constitution for Consolidation Fund of India without authorizing from the Parliament of India. So remember about that. And a vote on account only deals with the expenditure of the government's budget, while the interior budget includes both expenditure and receipts. That's something very crucial. Please do learn about it. And okay, also just learn about a few couple of things. Learn about Attorney General, Advocate General, just give importance to that. And appointment of the governor, just give some importance to the appointment of governors. Salaries and allowances of governor, please do spend time for it. Advocate General, Attorney General, just spend time, equivalent time for it. And along with that, there are a few couple of areas which you need to focus primarily. One is about, if you observe in general, what is a finance bill, what is a money bill, and it is powers. You need to spend equivalent time and then prepare for it in a proper way so that you never forget such kind of concepts again and again. Okay. All right. So now we have something called as cabinet. It is useful for instrument for taking policy initiatives and effective coordination. And about cabinet committees, please do learn about standing committee and ad hoc committee, and also learn about what is Niti Aayog, a 5-year planning committee to everything. I think the current is gone, so I hope you guys can bear with this thing. I'm just about to leave you guys quickly. Just give me a 1 second in general. Like, okay, learn about few couple of other topics about, yes. So PM, COM, Prime Minister and Chief Ministers, please do learn about it in a detailed manner. The President appoints ministers on the advice of Prime Ministers. What is a cabinet? Please do learn about it. And salient features of parliamentary form of government. Please do learn. A party system, elected representatives, cabinet that guides the parliament, everything. Please do go through it. And presidential form of government, you just need to spend time for it. And along with that, please do learn about one nation, one election system. Okay. So, for example, Lok Sabha Article 81, elected by the people, method of election, first past post system. Remember that what is the system you're following? It's something called as first past post system. You need to learn about it. Okay. And the time period of this election of this one in the Lok Sabha in general is basically for 5 years. So that is the time duration you should be knowing. Proclamation of emergency. Please to learn about the president and its powers in a very detailed manner. House of Parliament, just spend time for it. Remember that there has been delimitation commission which has been formed 4 times in our country. 4 times. The delimitation commission, the bar limit which we have basically set as of now, I'll just explain. So learn about delimitation commission, very important aspect which you should be giving importance. And then we have something about Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, powers of this one, and the total number of members and the ministers in the union government, including prime minister, shall not exceed 15% of total members of the House of Lok Sabha. Please do learn about it. And the union minister shall hold the office during the pleasure of the President of India. Union minister shall hold the office of the President of India. Just please to learn about it. The Prime Minister shall communicate to the President about the proposals to the legislation. So please do learn even that. And delimitation commission, also please to try to understand about few couple of important legislations, the powers, Prime Minister with COM, and qualifications of becoming a member of a parliament. He should be a citizen of India, a law made by the parliament, that you need to just partly give importance. And also when you basically say, also just give importance to the removal of the powers, for example, attorney general, governors of the state. So all these powers left with whom? With the president. So I hope you have to spend sufficient time over here and then prepare accordingly for this particular thing. Okay, sessions of parliament. And yeah, a few couple of other area would be about generally ordinary power. Just learn about ordinary bill. What is an ordinary bill? Okay, ordinary bill, money bill, based on the provisional legislation. Ordinary bill is something which has basically been introduced in either house of the parliament. Simple majority is required. Here, president to summon. Conditions for a deadlock. Article 108. So joint sitting, the president to summon, speaker to preside it, and majority total membership. You need to learn about it, and can hold to beyond this term of 5 years the power and functions. And there's something like appropriation bills you need to spend time and learn. And money bill in general, what is it? For example, imposition of fines and other pecuniary penalties comes in it. Supplementary proceedings and all, just spend time for it. And also learn about vice president, finance bill. What is a finance bill? So any of the matters which has been conditions dealt with the money bill, but do not solely of these matters. For example, like anything on that grounds, you just need to look at the constitution book once. Learn about the election disputes and impeachment of the president. What is the procedure for impeachment, grounds for the impeachment? What is the like finance bill? Just learn about the private member bill, just go through it once. Okay, the members, the manner of the election of the president, just go through it. With the Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, you just need to partly spend time for it. And yeah, so by this also learn about the legislative powers of president. So these, by this we end the important concepts which you should be knowing for your upcoming exam state as a whole. So we'd like to wish you all the best. We also provide all kind of services of one-to-one session and all. If you require, please do take it out from the below link. Wish you all the best. Good luck. Take care. Thank you.